From Chicago's #1 news, ABC7 Eyewitness News at 7 on the U starts right now.
Now at 7, a man whose prison sentence was commuted in Pat Quinn's final hours as governor, spending his first night of freedom in just about a decade. Good evening, everybody. I'm Jose Sanders.
And I'm Linda Yu. Howard Morgan's release is first in our 7 top stories at 7 on the U tonight. Now, Morgan was serving a 40-year sentence for murder, and tonight we're hearing from an outraged police officer Morgan shot nearly 10 years ago.
A driver for UberX facing assault charges tonight. Prosecutors say that driver picked up a passenger, then touched him inappropriately, choked him, and refused to let him out of the car.
Caught on camera break-in at several Chicago businesses. Owners are on alert after at least 3 burglaries reported in the Bucktown community.
History at Yosemite National Park tonight. 2 men have become the first to free climb the face of the landmark mountain there.
Close call at a California car wash. A man says he could not take his foot off the pedal as he zipped through. Murder trials begin in Bali for a Chicago couple accused of killing the woman's mother and stuffing the body in a suitcase. And frozen pipes bursting in the Chicago area. These headaches for homeowners may be just beginning. And speaking of our weather, another cold night, but it's not quite as frigid. Meteorologist Cheryl Scott is in the Weather Center with a quick look at her first alert forecast. Cheryl.
Yes, no snow on radar either. It is a quiet night all across Chicagoland. As we put this into motion, satellite and radar combined, no snow showers, no flurry activity. Now, we do have a few clouds, and clouds will be with us during the overnight hours, so that will help keep our temperatures steady. Right now, we sit into about the mid to upper teens. O'Hare reading of about 17, the lakefront at 18. We have mid-teens off towards the west, so we're going to stay on this path overnight and into the start of our Thursday. But big news here in the weather department. We're going to talk about warming temperatures near 40 degrees as we inch into the start of our weekend. Of course, we're going to be talking about this, how long that warm up will be sticking with us, and really quiet weather conditions over the next several days. We'll talk all about it coming right up. Jose?
Thank you, Cheryl. Tonight, an UberX driver is in jail facing charges of sexually assaulting a passenger. Prosecutors say the attack happened last July, but the driver was just arrested. Eyewitness News reporter Eric Hong working that story for us in Chicago's Lakeview East neighborhood. Eric.
Jose, that alleged assault involving a 21-year-old male passenger after the UberX driver picked him up on this block, the 700 block of West Cornelia. The driver, Adnan Nafasat of Villa Park, has been charged with criminal sexual assault, unlawful restraint, and kidnapping. The 46-year-old father of 3 allegedly picked up the man in the early morning hours of July 31st and asked him to sit in the front, saying there was a problem with the backseat. Prosecutors say Nafasat drove to an unknown neighborhood, groped, choked, and kissed the alleged victim, put his fingers in the man's mouth, exposed himself, and tried to force the man to perform a sex act. Nafasat eventually was arrested this week through records provided by Uber. Nafasat is the second Uber driver in the last couple 3 weeks to be charged with sexual assault. Maxime Fuanhedo was charged on December 30th in connection with a November 16th incident allegedly involving a female passenger. Now, regarding this latest incident, Uber said in a statement, "Our thoughts are with the victim of this horrible incident. We immediately removed the driver from our platform upon learning of the allegations and have been assisting authorities with the investigation." Uber says it removed that driver after the initial complaint was made back in July, but Uber and prosecutors have not said exactly why it took 5.5 months for that driver to be charged. Live in East Lakeview, Eric Hong, ABC7 Eyewitness News. Linda.
All right, Eric, thank you.
A man convicted of attempted murder is free tonight after he was granted clemency by outgoing Governor Pat Quinn just moments before he left office. Howard Morgan walked out of the state prison in Dixon just a few hours ago. The remainder of his 40-year sentence was commuted. His release has outraged some people, including one of the 3 officers he shot nearly 10 years ago during a traffic stop that turned violent. That officer spoke exclusively with Eyewitness News. Morgan is a former Chicago police officer. Governor Quinn is under no legal obligation to explain his clemency decisions.
Businesses in the city's Bucktown neighborhood have been warned to be on alert. We have some new surveillance video related to at least 3 burglaries in that area. That story's coming up a bit later.
Also, an officer looking at a gun shoots himself in the hand. He is now suing the gun shop.
Also, we are updating that historic trek to the top for a couple of climbers at Yosemite.
Now, from Chicago, you're watching Jose Sanders, Linda Yu, Sports with Jim Rose. And weather with meteorologist Cheryl Scott. ABC7 Eyewitness News at 7 on WCIU. The U continue.
And still chilly all across Chicagoland. We have temperatures currently into about the mid-teens. We are dry under partly cloudy skies. I'm going to be talking about a warm-up on the way. That's all coming up next.
And then later, what you may not be seeing on the menu at your local Chipotle restaurant after the company investigated one of its suppliers.
Now, the ABC7 Eyewitness News First Alert Forecast on the U.
And welcome back, everybody. It's a chilly night yet again all across Chicago. Here's a live look outside where we have a few clouds out there, but here's the good news. We have no snow falling anywhere in Chicago or Northwest Indiana. Radar always detecting, tracking the skies for you, and no precipitation close to home as of right now. Now, satellite and radar putting this into motion. We do have a thin layer of clouds out there. We will become mostly cloudy overnight, and I will even allow for a few flurries as we head into tomorrow morning, but really next to nothing if we do get any precipitation. We're still talking about these temperatures, and the temperatures, the cool temperatures all across Chicago, the big story over the past couple of days, but big changes on the way. We have readings right now only in the mid-teens. It hurts to talk about this cool air. 17 currently at O'Hare, and we still have breezy conditions out there. Winds kicking at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. So this is all making a difference. The actual feel-like temperature, it feels like we are in the single digits in a lot of locations. Now, here's the good news. Notice those wind speeds pumping in from the south and the southwest. So that cold, cold air that we were feeling over the past couple of days, that is going to retreat and stay to the north of us. So we do have that on our side. Still struggling out there today. If you were out and about today or even tonight or tomorrow morning, you will still need the winter gear. We had a high of 19 degrees. Now let's put this all into perspective. The average high for this time of the year is 31 degrees. And here is the good news. As we head into the day tomorrow, we will be flirting with 30 degrees. So that is near average for this time of the year. Temperatures will stay steady overnight, so into about the low to mid-teens across the region. It will be a very chilly start to our day. It will still stay breezy out there, but take a look at our temperatures tomorrow afternoon. Finally pushing back into the low 30s across the area. So we have that on our side for our Thursday. You can see across the Midwest, finally seeing those temperatures inch up. We have 40s off towards the south and west. And then as we head into Friday, a little chilly. We'll skip Friday. Let's go to Saturday. Let's talk about this. High temperatures will be near 40 degrees across the area, and we will have some sunshine to start off our weekend. So this will definitely make a difference. You can even see some 50s off to the south of our region. So high pressure is with us, keeping us mostly dry. That airflow becoming more zonal out of the south-southwest. Now, we are watching a little disturbance in the wings here, and you can see on satellite and radar a few snow showers with those clouds associated with that. This will inch in our direction as we head overnight. I'm not expecting really any snow. This won't be a snowmaker, but as we head overnight into early Thursday, perhaps a slight chance of a few flurries across our region. That's about it. Otherwise, we'll stay dry under partly to mostly cloudy skies for the day tomorrow. We will also be a little bit warmer, and this quiet weather pattern, it will stay with us through tomorrow, Friday, and even into the start of the weekend. No big storm systems to talk about here close to home. So for tonight, just on the cold side, 12 to 18 across the region under mostly cloudy skies, breezy conditions. Tomorrow, highs near 30. That's near average. Partly to mostly cloudy skies, perhaps a few morning flurries. It will be a breezy day, so it will still feel chilly, but more like what it should be for this time of the year. By Friday, a little cooler, 29, but still near average. And this weekend, Saturday, 43 degrees. We will take it. That is our bright spot, and boy, do we deserve it.
Illinois Governor Bruce Rauner putting the Ileana Expressway project on hold. In his first act after taking office Monday, he issued an executive order aimed at cutting spending. That order suspended planning and development of any major interstate construction projects pending a review of costs and benefits. The Ileana Expressway project would create a 47-mile link between Interstate 65 in Indiana and Interstate 55 in Illinois. A Virginia company is moving its headquarters to Chicago. It's expected to create hundreds of jobs here. Prescient Edge is a global security and technology company that will soon call One Prudential Plaza home. The company says it will create at least 60 full-time jobs in Chicago initially, and that could grow to hundreds of jobs in the coming years.
10,000 Chicago public school children will get to see the movie Selma for free. That's thanks to the After School Matters program, as well as a coalition of other businesses and civic groups. Now, the movie depicts the battle for equal voting rights for African Americans and Dr. Martin Luther King's march in 1965 from Selma to Montgomery. The organizations want teens from the After School Matters program to learn about the historical importance of the march and the message of justice and equality that is portrayed in that film.
Well, here's a question for you. Is your job helping contribute to your waistline? Coming up, the top things you might want to avoid if you want to keep from packing on the pounds.
The IRS is warning taxpayers to not count on a speedy refund this year. The agency says that refunds could be delayed up to a week or more because of budget cuts. Now, filers with errors or questions that require additional review also will be facing delays. Last month, Congress approved the smallest budget for the IRS since 2008, and less money equals fewer full-time employees and collection efforts. Those cuts could also result in 46,000 fewer audits this year. And you might have trouble getting some carnitas at your neighborhood Chipotle. The restaurant has stopped selling pork at about a third of its restaurants nationwide. Chipotle says that during a routine audit, it discovered that a major supplier of pork did not comply with that company's animal welfare standards. The shortfall affects the carnitas topping for Chipotle's burritos, their burrito bowls, as well as tacos. Now, there's no timetable, we're told, yet for the return of those carnitas. And more companies apparently are discovering the power of puppies in commercials. Expect to see a lot more cute canines in ads during the Super Bowl this year. Anheuser-Busch won high marks for an ad, you might remember it, for a golden retriever pup during last year's game. Now, that same puppy is back in another ad for Budweiser this year. And even GoDaddy is hopping on the puppy bandwagon instead of its usual racy spot. The company's ad will also feature a puppy. And by the way, NBC says it has already sold 95% of the available ad space for that big game. It's going to be on February 1st. Each of those 30-second spots sold for a new record price. That record, about $4.5 million.
Good boys. Well, feeling your waistline getting wider, a new survey by CareerBuilder.com found many Americans blame work for helping them to pack on the pounds. The freebie table, the biggest blame. That's where people bring extra treats to work, like cookies and candy. Well, how you commute to work could be to blame as well. That study found people who drive through neighborhoods with lots of fast food drive-thrus and restaurants are more likely to stop there. And others blame vending machines at work with all those packaged snacks that are high in calories and low in nutrients. So they say you should stop taking the elevator. Experts say taking the stairs adds value, calorie-burning steps to your day. And on-the-job stress is another reason the waistline goes up. Stress hormone cortisol triggers sugar cravings, and fat that is stored around the midsection also blows it up.
We shouldn't have dinner at the vending machine?
There you go. Not at all.
Okay, stop doing that. A check of the top stories coming up next, including the Chicago businesses on alert tonight after a string of burglaries. We'll take a look at the images that surveillance cameras caught.
Also, Mayor Emanuel in campaign mode. What he's promising about changes if he's reelected and how he is answering his critics.
And the very close call at the car wash. Workers trying to stop a driver, but he just there he goes, kept on going. So what went wrong?
And I'm Jim Rose, live at the United Center, where the Bulls and the Wizards are just about to close out the first quarter. We'll have the highlights of the first half for you coming up later in sports.
Right now, ABC7 Eyewitness News on the U continues.
On this half hour of Eyewitness News on the U, the extreme cold creating problems. Some people cleaning up after several frozen pipes burst.
Hundreds are looking for answers to more questions about the proposed presidential library sites in Chicago.
Surveillance video shows a daring break-in at a business in Chicago's Bucktown neighborhood. But breaking news first in Elgin, where a child is seriously hurt after a car hit him. The boy is either 12 or 13 years old. This is happening on Route 20 near McLean Boulevard. Police tell us the car involved did stop at that scene. Live, Chopper 7 HD. Now, back to those break-ins that have a number of businesses now on alert.
At least 3 burglaries have happened over the last month near the intersection of Elston and Webster. That is in Chicago's Bucktown neighborhood. More tonight from Eyewitness News reporter Diane Pathew.
This is the alleged suspect caught on camera. Watch as he throws a large piece of concrete through the glass door. He manages to get through the bottom half and weaves his way around. Rosemary Delgado is part owner of Moving Chicago, a budget truck rental store, and the vintage resale shop next door. Both are equipped with a security alarm, yet the alleged suspect managed to get into the owner's back office where the register was. The store was one of 3 break-ins that took place early Saturday morning. The other 2 businesses just a block away. Fast Signs in the 1800 block of West Webster also had their front door broken into and some cash taken. And for the second time in less than a month, Fast Eddie's car wash next door. The car wash, which also has a security system and also has over a dozen surveillance cameras, are working to get the footage to police and are thinking about adding a security gate. Delgado tells me she plans to look at past footage to see if the alleged suspect has been here before. Reporting from Bucktown, Diane Pathew, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Tonight, a lot of people want to know, when is it going to finally warm up outside? Take a look outside right now. We're looking at Millennium Park, looking at all the buildings out there in Streeterville. It looks really crisp. So that means it's cold, right? But our temperatures never made it out of the teens today. However, it is not quite as frigid tonight as it's been. And we are very close, well, almost closer to that promised warm-up for us. Right, Cheryl Scott?
That's exactly right. I will promise you a warm-up. And that's the good news about our temperatures. We're in the mid-teens right now, and they really won't drop too much more as we head into the overnight hours, staying steady. But with that said, it's still very cold out there. Satellite and radar combined, not tracking any precipitation. We do have a few clouds. I am expecting mostly cloudy skies into the overnight hours. Here's where our temps sit right now, into about the low to mid-teens. O'Hare, we just dropped off to 14 degrees. As we head overnight, I talked about the steady temperatures, but then into tomorrow afternoon. This is our transition day. We will take it. Our temperatures will climb back to near average for this time of the year, and highs will be right near 30 degrees. But that's not the warmest. We'll talk about even warmer days to come as we turn up our temperatures here in Chicago, near 40 degrees for our Saturday. We'll highlight that coming up in a bit.
Charges tonight in a wrong-way crash that had killed a Chicago musician this past weekend. 21-year-old Matthew Bauer is accused now of driving drunk and going the wrong way on the Eisenhower Expressway early Sunday morning. Police say that he crashed his van into 2 other vehicles at the Des Plaines exit, killing Juan Carlos Salazar and injuring 4 others. Now, Bauer was also injured and remains hospitalized right now. Carlos Salazar was a musician. He's survived by his 4-year-old daughter.
A company that uses human bodies for medical research responds to FBI raids at its businesses yesterday. An attorney for the Biological Research Center says the company is cooperating with authorities. The investigation appears to involve human remains that were donated for use in scientific research. Federal authorities today were back at that company's crematorium in Schiller Park.
Now, the ABC7 Eyewitness News First Alert Forecast on the U.
And welcome back, everybody. Tracking those skies for you. We're going to start you here at home with our radar, always scanning for you. No rain, no snow to speak of at this moment. We do have a few clouds out there. Satellite and radar combined putting this into motion. You can see a few clear spots, but mostly cloudy skies will persist as we head into the overnight hours. And those clouds will actually help out our temperatures. Thankfully, it was another chilly day all across the bat. Here's where we sit right now. We are into about the mid to upper teens. O'Hare sitting at 17 degrees, well below average. Winds kicking at about 5 to 10 miles an hour, so adding a slight wind chill to our air mess out there. If you're heading out tonight or early tomorrow morning, you will still need the layers, but tomorrow will be our transition day. We're talking about a warm-up here in Chicago. Finally, we deserve it. Today's high, not so much, 19 degrees, that was it. The average for this time of the year, where we should be, 31 degrees, and we will be near that tomorrow afternoon. So here's a look at our temperature cast as we put this into the future for you. As we go overnight, you can see our temperatures holding steady into about the mid to upper teens, thankfully not dropping. And then as we head into the afternoon, highs will be creeping into the low 30s around the region. So tomorrow we're talking about high temperatures across the Midwest, finally back to near average, near 30 degrees, off to the south and west, even warmer 40s. Then we're going to skip Friday because Saturday, that's our good day. This is what we're talking about. We're highlighting it. High temperatures will make it to near 40 degrees all across Chicagoland, even 50s just off to the south and west of us. So improving temperatures, that cold Arctic air that we've been feeling over the past 2 weeks. That's finally retreating. It's going to stay to the north of us. High pressure is slipping through, keeping us mostly dry on the backside of this high. Winds out of the south and west. Now off to the north and west, tracking an area of precipitation. You can see some very light spotty snow showers with this. Now as this continues to move in our direction, really not expecting much out of this whatsoever. The snow showers will continue to dissipate, especially areas just off to the west. But as we head into the morning, we could find a few flurries across Chicago. Otherwise, just mostly cloudy skies. We are really in a quiet weather pattern. No major storms to speak of as we head into the next couple of days. So for tomorrow, we'll take it 31 degrees. Friday, a little cooler, 29. Not too bad, though. So warmer than right now. Saturday, there it is, the sunshine, our golden forecast with a high temperature of 43 degrees. Chance of a few flurries there Sunday into Monday, and then another chance on Tuesday.
Well, coming up next in sports, the Blackhawks get back in ice. The captain gets to be a different kind of captain. Jim Rose is going to explain next in sports.
Now, sports on the U from ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the United Center, where the Bulls are taking on the Wizards right now. They're in the second quarter, and Derrick Rose is trying to silence all the critics who are ragging his shooting percentages over the last 2 weeks. And Tony Snell gets the start for a Bulls team that sorely needs to beat one of the best teams in the East. Back to Derrick Rose, though. He's been fabulous, looking to get off to a good start in the first quarter. Early on, the Bulls are up by 3, and here's Derrick with a nice drive, gets the layup off the glass. And then 2 seconds left in the first quarter. Rose throws up the half-court shot at the buzzer. It goes in. Derrick with 17 points in the first quarter, hit 7 of 9 shots, 3 of 4 from the long-distance land. And right now, the Bulls are leading 38-32 in the second quarter. As for the Bears, today they interviewed former Denver Broncos coach John Fox for the team's vacant head coaching job. And Fox is said to be a very strong candidate to be the next field boss of the Bears now that Todd Bowles has signed on to coach the New York Jets. Well, the Blackhawks went back to work at Johnny's Ice House West, just about a mile here from the United Center. And 2 of their star players, Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane, got a little bit of surprise because they're going to have some extra duties at the All-Star game in Columbus. Dion Miller has that story. Thanks, Dion. Briefly, Jack Del Rio is the next head coach of the Oakland Raiders. Marcus Mariota is going to leave Oregon after his junior year. He'll forego his senior year to turn to the NFL draft. And Doug Bruno will be the head coach of the DePaul women's basketball team at least through the 2019-2020 season. He signed an extension today. Bulls and the Wizards continue on late in the first half here. It is now 43-32. The Bulls leading the Wizards, a far cry from what was last Friday in Washington when the Wizards blitzed the Bulls in the nation's capital. Mark will have your highlights over on ABC7 coming up at 10 o'clock. Live from the United Center, Jim Rose, ABC7 Eyewitness News. Jose, Linda, back to you in the studio.
All right, Sharon, thanks so much.
Well, that's going to do it for us for tonight. Thanks for watching. For the entire Eyewitness News team, I'm Jose Sanders.
And I'm Linda Yu. Our next newscast is at 10 on ABC7. Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow.